It's no way. Oh my God. The drive home from that was a little nerve-wracking.
It was only a mile downhill.
No, my husband's
downhill.
But that was when we woke up in the middle of the night. We had our dog with us, and she was like sleeping in her crate. We had, hi Marco. He brought her crate, and the poor dog in the middle of the night. It starts to pour down rain, and oh, we're getting wet in the tent. The dog's in the crate. We're in the tent. She's freaking out. We're freaking out. Finally, we go into the hot tub.
This is the dog.
Stella. Our wonderful. They took care of us. You know, she died last year. So sad.
Oh, that.
Anyway,
I like that dog.
She was. You guys did like that dog.
Yeah.
So one time, remember, you guys were so worried about her because she was shaking. She did this little shaking thing, and we came back from our trip or whatever, and they were like, "We're so worried about Patty's leg."
Yeah.
She just does it sometimes. We're all on the same page about how she got diagnosed. I mean, the day that.
So I would come home in my VW bug.
Redo it the whole time with
square bag, low to the ground, and I'd park in front of our house, and I look out my driver's side window, and there was the Spectre with his head looking in my window, because he was big, very big. And whoa, there's the Spectre outside my window.
Wasn't he would hang out in the car too, like he was driving or something? Look out the window.
What was it Jeff had? Jeff had Dalmatians, right?
Still does, yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful dog. Dalmatians? My uncle had one, and he was so smart. But he ended up getting smashed by a car. That's the thing about you shouldn't let them run around.
They have to run around, Dalmatians.
That's true.
Where's the fire?
And they're sitting there and we're having a real quiet, the service goes. All of a sudden he lets go with this. Everybody fucking cracked. It was the first thing everybody said. That was it. Downhill, so much for the Quaker service.
Well, I couldn't stop laughing. I walked out. I was like, it was
hysterical.
Yeah, people were quaking.
Who let it go though? Who did that? Who let that go?
Probably Bear.
Yeah, I was blaming on Bear.
Probably Bear. It was either you or Bear.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't McCallum. Yeah, stuff like that. Not much, but some.
Never that. I was like, and people were hushing me up.
They were asking why it was named Chaos. It was named Chaos because when we first got there, all the shit was in there. Right. Didn't Watson name everything there? Didn't he run around with naming Watson thing?
Bunch of us did. We walked around naming things, and then he it was fun. That was really a very creative moment.
But it was okay because he.
Chaos.
And that's where the site had been empty for 6 years.
Is that right?
6 years.
Wow.
And everything that was left of the previous camp was there in that building.
Yeah, everything was stuff unbelievable.
Got in there, it was just
so that's the naming of Chaos.
Yep.
Tonight, can you announce that because we were talking about that?
And how do we spell it? It was like K-H-Y...
K-Y-O-S?
K-H-A-Y-O-S.
Yeah, K-H-A-Y-O-S.
Melody's carrying around a map from like an orientation back when, Stone's Throw still existed, because it's got Stone's Throw on there, which was like 68. That was the little staff house there, halfway on the Boys Hill. Off the rec hall, where we had the mattresses and the what did we call those little hockey puck things? Those little flips, or we had a name for them. They were little round hockey puck foam things, and we would throw them at each other. Yeah, they were little Nerf hockey pucks, and we'd have mattresses lined.
Oh, that was where we did the touchy-feely thing.
Very touchy-feely.
No, they were touchy-feely.
Homestead
That's the story they never tell.
Lord,
That's the one that never comes out.
You remember
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
You were there. They made us wear blindfolds. And we had to go in and not talk.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a
Well, we also did one of those in OI. I remember particularly when Mike just went in OI.
Yeah, but it actually worked.
Some weird people.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of neat because everybody was just touching it. It was like the counselors, and I think it was on like a tray.
Non-verbally.
You had to express yourself non-verbally, and JC
Non-verbal communication.
reached down and rubbed my legs, and then I rubbed his legs because remember.
I just remember serving like a rolling stone and listening.
Actually, I think he was a.
Or is it a rat?
Chester, someplace like that.
He was whack.
Trying to find out if he's still alive.
Yeah, because
We don't know.
told us. And no, she didn't hit the note.
That's
That was
scary.
the whole focus of the opera was whether or not the soprano was going to hit this note.
You know where Berger and Speedy lived in the old Homestead site, where their domicile was on campus? down by the chapel. Down in the
Oh, yeah.
It was sort of on the edge of the residential district, and they lived in this place, and they didn't know what they called it. They had a name for their little cabin, like Room with a View.
And then Ashley
To look at how we're running things here. We've got kids, losing it. People like him were solid.
In the land that forgot Frizzell.
Yeah, right.
You started?
Yeah, and then I had another voice that told us, I used a sort of mythological tone to it, and the narrator would talk about, say, in the land that forgot Frizzell, and pause, and then the next voice would explain the story, what the reference was. And so then it would go on in mythological language, and then the next voice would explain the story.
You remember that, don't you?
It was part of the opening ceremony.
Not one of the better ceremonies. You will not find this one on the internet.
No, this was last year. You weren't here last year. Anyway,
I might not have been here for that.
He's like, out of here.
You're here for everything, Peter.
The day that we went on a 2-day off.
In fact, I don't think you've been home. I think you just walked over from the fucking camp over there.
He's been sneaking over here, right in one of
I
us.
think it was 68 where you went away for 2 days off, and we decided that we would just erase all evidence of your existence and put another counselor in your bed in the middle of the night. We left in the middle of the night, we took all your stuff out, and then the rest of the staff was in on it, and we behaved as if you didn't. What kind of name is that? And so all the campers were going nuts.
You know what a day off is like in Sloatsburg? You should have your day off.
No, I would go into town. I would go into New York.
Oh man, I got to
The Joe was so excited.
One block this way, one block that way. I'll get back to camp.
Now I do remember on one of the the transition days, going in, I think it was 67, they got me a fake ID, and I went with Blondie. God, who else? A couple of other guys.
But that was 18 then, right? It was 18.
Yeah.
At that point.
And I wasn't 18. Oh, I borrowed B.J. Grossman's ID.
Oh, come on! How could you borrow B.J. Grossman's ID?
They didn't have pictures.
Okay.
And we went
B.J.
into
was
the
like,
bar, and I was
like this
drinking
thin.
beer.
The only one thin on her was Amy. That's because Amy was
But
tall.
Amy had, never mind.
Never mind. Yeah, B.J. Grossman's ID.
Amy had, as we like to say, a figure.
Yeah.
Like a pencil.
She's a pencil.
BJ was really skinny.
Oh my God, she was out
BJ was,
before they had the word.
Yeah.
Although actually she
Constantly.
can eat.
She smoked more than anybody.
Yeah, but
We all
was she
smoked like
purging?
crazy.
No.
No.
Not back then.
It was like this. You
Not
knew
back
if
then.
somebody was throwing up all the time.
Wasn't he going out with Charlie, somebody or other?
Eisenberg.
For a while, yeah.
Wild Belt Charlie. That's Wild Belt Charlie.
Well, she also dated Speedy, and she dated Burger.